The Apostle Paul said in Galatians 2:20, I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Those are important words for us to consider today, to be reminded that our lives are no longer our own. We've been bought at a price. Paul the Apostle said, I've been crucified with Christ, meaning he died in my place. I died with him. My life no longer belongs to me. It now belongs to him. But then that phrase, the life which I now live in the flesh. Oh, the flesh. What flesh is Paul referring to there? We know that the Apostle Paul is not saying the life I now live in the flesh like the lusts of the flesh. He's just simply talking about his natural body. This flesh, this tangible body that I live in, this life that I now live in my earthly body. I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me, gave himself for me. So let me ask you a question. How's life going in your flesh today? How's the physical world, how are you responding to the physical world around you? How's the physical world treating you today? The Apostle Paul also said, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. But there are times that others that are close to us do get on our nerves, do they not? Well, maybe during this time of house arrest, there's others getting on your nerves around you. Maybe it's just the people that you love, that you've been in close contact with and somewhat frustrated with or frustrated by. Sadly, there have been an uptick in domestic disturbances, domestic disputes right here in the Gallatin Valley, even since the beginning of some of the social distancing. We're not in our normal routines and our normal rhythms, and frustrations can run high. I'm thankful we've not had a domestic disturbance at the Etheridge house, but we've come close. I have to tell you. I'm also mindful of what the Lord tells us in Colossians 3. Well, not only does he say, set your mind on things above. If you've died with Christ, you've been raised with him, set your mind on things above. We need to be reminded that the Lord's coming again for us. But then right after that, therefore, as the elect of God, as his chosen, as the Lord's people, as his redeemed, since we're holy and beloved, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved by our God, put on tender mercies, Colossians 3:12. Put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long-suffering, bearing with one another, and forgiving one another. Even if anyone has a complaint against one another, even as Christ forgave you, so you also must do. And above all these things, verse 14 tells us, put on love, which is the bond of perfection. I think it's important for us just to be mindful that in difficult days and in challenging times, frustrations can run high. And it's easy for us to then even come against those that we love the most, those that are closest to us. Our need for humility is very evident. And so let us put on that love that the Lord has loved us with, and that grace, that forgiveness that he has shown toward us. Let's bear one another. Bear with one another. Let's be long-suffering with each other. I'm praying for you. Please pray for me and our household. I'm praying for you that God would give you grace. And back to our verse in Galatians, where the Apostle Paul said, the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Oh, the Lord has loved you. Remember, he loved you so much, he died for you while you were still a sinner. Romans 5:8. God demonstrates his love toward us in that while we're still sinners, Christ died for us. Hey, the Lord loved you. He gave himself for you. He went to Calvary. He died on a cross in your place. He rose again from the grave, defeating death. And if he loved you then, when you were his enemy, how much more does he love you now that you're his child, that you're his redeemed? And so you don't have to earn his favor. You don't have to earn his love today. He loves you, and he's present with you. So let his grace be transforming grace. Let it be settling grace in your heart and in your life, so that you might love others with the love that he's given you. Before I sign off here today, I just want to mention one thing to those of you that are alone. Maybe you're living by yourself, and this time of social distancing has been especially difficult for you. You actually could wish that there would be some people in the house that you could fight with. You're missing that interaction with others. Well, my heart goes out to you, and know that we're praying for you as well. And the Lord is near you. And so let him be your all in all. If he's even if now he is all you have, the only fellowship you have in the home with you, just know that he is near you, and he cares for you immeasurably. Let his love satisfy your heart today. Well, God bless you, church. Continue on FaceTime one another, call one another, text one another, be encouraging one another, post in the comments here words to one another. And let us serve the Lord with gratitude and with long suffering and with kindness. May the Lord bring peace in your home and peace in your hearts. God bless you. Thanks again for watching today.